Chapter 61 The Killer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm finally back alive. Looking at the familiar training room in the main hall of Vulcan Peak, Feng secretly breathed a sigh of relief and sighed softly. In the killing battlefield, although Feng was strong and powerful, he did not dare to slack off at all, for fear that he would capsize in the gutter and be killed because of his negligence. His spirit was always tense. After returning to the training room in the main hall of Vulcan Peak, Feng was safe, and his tense nerves relaxed. A strong sense of fatigue swept over him, and Feng immediately walked towards the lounge of the main hall. It's so comfortable. 3 days later, Feng opened his tightly closed eyes, got up from the comfortable big bed, stretched his waist, and sighed with comfort all over his body. After a sigh, Feng took out the killing token and observed it carefully. At this time, the killing token underwent obvious changes. Countless mysterious symbols were hidden deep in the killing token. A kill and a yang appeared on both sides of the killing token. When Feng poured a stream of mana into the killing token did not react at all, but when Feng poured a stream of killing mana into the killing token, a ray of light shot out from it and condensed a virtual screen in front of Feng, with countless information flashing on it. Seeing this scene, Feng immediately cast his eyes on the virtual screen and carefully observed its content. Soon, Feng browsed all the contents on the virtual screen and had a simple understanding of the killer and the killing organization. The killing organization is an organization created by the Lord of Killing. This organization is spread all over the heavens and worlds and goes deep into the major worlds. The killer is a member of the killing organization, and is selected in the killing field created by the Lord of Killing in various worlds. Killers are divided into 9 levels, namely 1-star killers, 2-star killers, 9-star killers. The levels of killers are not divided by their cultivation strength, but by their killing points. The more killing points a killer has, the higher the level, the better the treatment, and the higher the authorization. Killing points are the task rewards obtained by killers for completing tasks issued by the killing organization, which can be exchanged for various cultivation resources and items, such as skills, natural materials, weapons and equipment, and elixirs. Feng looked at the cultivation resources and items on the exchange list and found that there were even immortal-level skills, immortal tools, immortal pills, immortal stones and other cultivation resources in the immortal world. Dao tools, treasure tools, spiritual tools, magic crystals, elixirs, spiritual stones, various top-level natural materials, top-level cultivation skills and other cultivation resources in the world are countless, and the number of killing points you want is very small. This made Feng very excited, and he wanted to get a lot of killing points immediately and exchange all the resources in it. However, when Feng saw the content of the task issued by the killing organization, he immediately backed off and no longer dreamed of getting killing points and exchanging for cultivation resources. Because the tasks issued by the killing organization were not too difficult, but too risky or too cruel, Feng could not accept them. For example, killing the leader of the Luoyuan sect in the Luoyuan domain of the Tianwu continent can get 10,000 killing points. The leader of the Luoyuan sect is a real fairyland strongman. Feng wants to kill him, but he doesn't know how many years of cultivation he will have to do. The difficulty of this task is very high for Feng, and the risk is too great, so he can't accept it at all. For another example, slaughtering a city of tens of millions of people, the souls of tens of millions of people condense into a soul bead, and get 10 killing points. This task is not too difficult for Feng. Feng only needs to go to a secular country and find a city with a population of 10 million, and he can easily kill all of them and complete this task. But killing 10 million ordinary people for no reason is simply unacceptable to Feng. Although Feng is not a good person, he will not kill 10 million ordinary people for some killing points without reason unless it involves his life and death. Therefore, after browsing the tasks issued by the killing organization, Feng completely gave up the calculation of killing points and directly put the killing token into the cave bead as a pawn, letting it eat dust in the cave bead. I wonder if these space rings can give me some surprises. After dealing with the killing tokens, Feng cast his eyes on the more than 200,000 space rings he brought back from the killing space, his eyes flashing with strong expectations. These space rings are all items on the killing space trial. The testers of the killing space came from all over the Tianwu continent. The weakest of them had the cultivation strength of the mana realm, and the strongest had the cultivation strength of the nascent soul realm or even the soul realm. There must be a lot of cultivation resources in their space rings, which made Yang Feng very much looking forward to it. There were too many space rings, and it was too time-consuming for Yang Feng to open them one by one. Therefore, Yang Feng directly sent all the more than 200,000 space rings into the Dongtian Pearl, and opened them together with the help of the power of the Dongtian Pearl. Suddenly, countless items were seen pouring out of these space rings, and under the power of the Dongtian Pearl, they were piled together in different categories. 36 million high-grade spirit stones, 80 million high-grade spirit stones, 18.6 billion low-grade spirit stones, more than 12.6 million first-level magic pills. Looking at the mountains of spiritual stones, various spiritual pills, treasures, spiritual tools, magic tools and other weapons and equipment in the cave bead, as well as various natural treasures, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with excitement, and he secretly thought that he had made a fortune. After a burst of excitement, Yang Feng withdrew his consciousness from the cave bead and walked towards the training room in the main hall. Before I entered the killing space, I had practiced the Xuantian Ju to the peak of the Yin-Yang realm. Now I can impact the Tianren realm. Yang Feng sat cross-legged, took a bottle of second-level magic pills, poured all 10 of them into his mouth, swallowed them, and then operated the Xuantian Ju technique to refine the energy of the second-level magic pills into pure magic power. With the experience in the killing space, Yang Feng easily broke through the bottleneck of the Yin-Yang mirror and was promoted to a Tianren realm cultivator. After that, Yang Feng took the third-level magic pill without any hesitation and continued to practice. Time passed quickly like running water, and in the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. In the past 3 years, Yang Feng had not left the main hall of Huishan Peak, and had been practicing in seclusion in the main hall of Huishan Peak. After 3 years of deep practice, Yang Feng practiced Xuantian Ju and Huishan Ju to the realm of supernatural power, and condensed 2 supernatural power talismans in the sea of consciousness, and his strength increased greatly. At this time, a crisp sound came from Yang Feng's identity token, making him open his closed eyes and look at the identity token. There are still 3 days left, and the inner door competition will start. Looking at the information on the identity token, Yang Feng muttered softly. After muttering, Yang Feng's eyes flashed, and he stood up and walked out of the main hall of Huishan Peak. Chapter 62, Leaving the Customs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master, please come out of seclusion. Seeing Yang Feng coming out of the main hall, the 2 servants guarding the entrance of the main hall had a look of surprise in their eyes and shouted involuntarily. Well, let's get out of seclusion. You go and call Mr. Gung here. Yang Feng nodded gently, gave a casual instruction, let go of his consciousness, and check the situation of Vulcan Peak. Soon, Yang Feng checked the situation at Vulcan Peak, nodded with satisfaction, secretly said that Gung Xiaoli did a good job, and walked towards the Vulcan Peak martial arts field. At this time, at the Vulcan Peak martial arts arena, more than 100 Yang family disciples were working hard to practice martial arts, and no one was lazy. More importantly, these more than 100 Yang family disciples have all been promoted to true Yuan realm warriors, and more than 10 of them are talented Yang family disciples who have even cultivated the Gangqi realm. However, Yang Tian, who was valued by Yang Feng, even cultivated to the peak of the Gangqi realm, giving birth to a little spiritual power, or more, and he could be promoted to a mana realm monk. This made Yang Feng very satisfied, with a faint smile on his face. Brother Feng, come out of seclusion. That when Yang Feng came to the edge of the martial arts arena, he was practicing Yang Tian. He immediately noticed Yang Feng and immediately stopped practicing, greeting him with a look of surprise on his face. Xiao Tian, you are progressing very quickly. If you don't do more, you can be promoted to a mana realm monk. This shows that you have not slacked off during the years of seclusion. It is very good. I am very satisfied. Seeing the welcoming Yang Tian, Yang Feng patted his shoulder and praised with a smile on his face. Brother Feng, the main reason why I have made such rapid progress is because of the strong aura of Vulcan Peak. You gave me pills to help you. Otherwise, how could you have reached the peak of Gangqi realm in just a few years? Actually, not only the more than 100 disciples of our Yang family have made such rapid progress, it's all because Brother Feng has provided you with abundant training resources. After hearing Yang Feng's praise, Yang Tian gently shook his head and said, "My family knows my own business. Yang Feng provides too many resources. Even a pig can practice so fast with so many cultivation resources." Therefore, Yang Tianxin has no pride, only gratitude to Yang Feng. Neither arrogant nor impetuous. Very good. When you reach the magic realm, I will give you 10 bottles of first-level magic pills and a spiritual weapon. After listening to Yang Tian's words, Yang Feng's smile became even stronger and he praised softly. After that, Yang Feng turned his attention to the more than 100 Yang family disciples in the martial arts field and said loudly, "You are practicing very hard, and the speed of your practice is also good. I am very satisfied. These Jingyuan Dan, Lingyuan Dan, will give you a reward, please keep them." While speaking, Yang Feng waved his hand, and a bottle of Jingyuan Dan and Lingyuan Dan flew out from his space ring and landed in the palm of a disciple of the Yang family. "Thank you for the reward from Brother Feng." More than 100 Yang family disciples took the elixir and shouted loudly, their eyes filled with excitement. If you are not warriors of the true Yuan realm and the Gangqi realm, you can definitely join our Xuantian sect and become our outer disciples of the Xuantian sect. Later, write a note and ask Yang Tian to take you to the Internal Affairs Hall of Xuantian City to go through the procedures for joining the outer disciples of Xuantian sect, and practice well in Xuantian City. As disciples of our Yang family, you are not allowed to do evil under the banner of our Yang family, and you are not allowed to bully good people under the banner of our Yang family. If you think someone is doing evil under the banner of the Yang family and oppressing good people, without the sect's law enforcement team taking action, I will destroy you first. Of course, as disciples of our Yang family, don't be afraid of trouble. Whoever dares to bully you should be beaten back directly. If someone bullies a small one and you can't defeat him, you can come to and will stand up for you. I don't dare to say it's a different place, but I still live in Xuantian City. After a few years, not only Xuantian City, but also the entire Xuantian sect will be able to cover it. Okay, no more nonsense, just prepare yourself, and then follow Yang Tian to Xuantian City. Looking at the hundreds of Xuantian sect disciples in the martial arts arena, Yang Feng said with a smile on his face. After saying that, Yang Feng thought in his mind, and streams of pure mana came out of his body, condensing the characters into a letter, and handed it to Yang Tian. After that, Yang Feng and Yang Tian told him to leave the martial arts arena. Congratulations, Lord, for coming out of seclusion. Not long after Yang Feng left the martial arts arena, Geng Xiaoli flew down in front of Yang Feng from a distance and greeted him respectfully. Manager Geng, congratulations on your promotion to a magic realm monk and becoming an inner disciple of our Xuantian sect. Now, you want to stay at Vulcan Peak and be the general manager, and also go to the sect's inner disciples' place to practice. Looking at Geng Xiaoli who was wearing inner disciple clothes, Yang Feng asked softly. Lord, the reason why I am able to cultivate the magic realm is entirely because the Lord gave me the spiritual essence pill to assist me. Master's kindness, I dare not forget. Is willing to stay at Vulcan Peak and continue to be the general manager of the Master. Geng Xiaoli responded without hesitation. Very good. Keep this low-grade spiritual weapon, the long sword, and these 10 bottles of first-level magical elixirs, and I will give you a reward for being promoted to an inner disciple. Yang Feng chuckled, waved his hand, and a low-grade spiritual weapon long sword and 10 bottles of first-level magic pills flew out from his space ring and hovered in front of Geng Xiaoli. Thank you for the reward, my lord. I am willing to die for you. Geng Xiaoli put the low-grade spiritual weapon long sword and 10 bottles of first-level magic pills into the space ring, and said to Yang Feng with excitement. There is also the inner gate competition to start. Please introduce the process of the inner gate competition this year. Seeing Geng Xiaoli's excitement, Yang Feng nodded gently. Master, this year's inner gate competition is divided into 2 stages. The first stage is the qualification selection competition, which mainly tests the strength of the inner gate disciples who have registered for the competition. Only Inner Gate disciples who pass the strength test can obtain the qualification to participate in the Inner Gate competition. This year's strength test is to defeat a battle puppet in the heavenly realm. Only by defeating a battle puppet in the heavenly realm can you be qualified to participate in this year's Inner Gate competition. The qualification selection competition lasts for 1 day. It will start after the day. The second stage is the elimination round, mainly to select 100 Inner Sect elite disciples. The first stage is the ring battle. Mainly the top 100 Inner Sect elite disciples will fight in the ring battle. Each Inner Sect disciple must fight 99 games, win a game to get a point, and then rank according to the number of points. After hearing Yang Feng's words, Geng Xiaoli immediately introduced the rules of Xuantian sect's annual Inner Sect competition to Yang Feng. Chapter 63 Inner Gate Competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My lord, this is the detailed information of this year's Inner Sect competition, and it also contains introductions to some of the favorites to win the championship. After briefly introducing the rules of the Inner Sect competition, Geng Xiaoli took out a jade slip from the space ring and handed it to Yang Fengdao. Very good. Take these 3 bottles of first-level magical elixirs, and they will be considered as my reward for you. Yang Feng took the jade slip, let go of his spiritual consciousness and scanned it briefly. A look of satisfaction flashed in his eyes. With a wave of his hand, he took out 3 bottles of first-level magic pills from the space ring and handed them to Geng Xiaoli. After that, Yang Feng waved his hand and returned to the main hall to study the rules and popular candidates for this year's Inner Sect competition. The Xuantian sect is indeed one of the 5 major sects in the Xuantian domain, and there are countless geniuses in the Inner Sect. After carefully studying the contents of the jade slip, Yang Feng couldn't help but sigh. According to the introduction in the jade slips, this year's top 10 favorites to win the championship are all peerless geniuses. They all have special physiques and outstanding talents. They have the strength and record to fight across levels and even kill enemies across levels. However, if the top 10 favorites to win the championship only have the abilities mentioned in the jade slips, Yang Feng is absolutely sure that he will be ranked first in this Inner Sect competition. After all, these top 10 favorites to win the championship are peerless geniuses, while Yang Feng is a peerless evildoer who has never been born in 10,000 years. The two cannot be compared. The area of Yang Feng's sea of consciousness is tens of thousands of times that of a level monk, his mana reserves are tens of thousands of times that of a level monk, the power of his magical talismans is tens of thousands of times that of a level monk, and his overall strength and combat effectiveness are even more than that of a level monk. 10,000 times, or even 100,000 times, killing enemies across levels is as simple as eating and drinking. Therefore, after Yang Feng read the contents of the jade slips, he put down many worries in his heart and continued to practice Shen Tian Ju to improve his cultivation strength. 3 days later, Yang Feng left the main hall of Vulcan Peak and flew toward the law enforcement hall deep in Xuantian Vein. The law enforcement hall is the law enforcement agency of the Xuantian sect and is directly under the jurisdiction of the Xuantian sect's head. The disciples of the law enforcement hall are all composed of true disciples, and all of them possess extremely powerful cultivation abilities. The head of the law enforcement hall is a powerful deputy head. He is extremely powerful and is one of the strongest departments of the Xuantian sect. This year's Inner Sect competition was hosted by the master of the law enforcement hall, and the first stage of qualifying trials was held directly in the square of the law enforcement hall. When Yang Feng flew near the law enforcement hall, he was surprised to find that thousands of inner disciples had gathered in the square of the law enforcement hall. These inner disciples all exuded mana fluctuations of the heavenly human realm and the divine power realm, which surprised Yang Feng. However, Yang Feng turned his head and thought of the reason. The Xuantian sect has dominated the Xuantian territory for countless years, and the lifespan of the inner disciples is as high as 500 years. Unlike the outer disciples, they change every once in a while. After so many years of accumulation, the number of inner sect disciples is not at all compared to the outer sect disciples. Among them, there should be tens of thousands of inner sect disciples in the heaven and human realm and supernatural power realm. In a flash of his mind, Yang Feng flew onto the square of the law enforcement hall, waiting for the qualification trials to begin. Junior brother, you look very unfamiliar. I seem to have never seen you before. That at this time, a fat man wearing the clothes of an inner disciple quickly approached Yang Feng, measured Yang Feng carefully for a while, and said in a puzzled tone, hearing the fat man's words, Yang Feng chuckled and said, "Isn't it normal to meet each other? Our Xuantian sect has so many inner disciples, how can you still recognize them?" Hearing Yang Feng's words, the fat man shook his head and said, "This junior brother, Wang Lei, are known as the know-it-all. There is nothing big or small in our Xuantian sect that I, Wang Lei, don't know. I know all the inner disciples of our Xuantian sect who are in the heavenly human realm and the divine power realm. I don't know you, a disciple of the divine power territory sect. Isn't it really strange? What's your name? When were you promoted to an inner disciple?" Hearing what Fatty Wang Lei said, Yang Feng smiled slightly and said, "I, Yang Feng, was promoted to an inner disciple 3 years ago." As soon as Yang Feng finished speaking, the fat man Wang Lei's eyes lit up and he raised his voice involuntarily. "Are you the Yang Feng who was accepted as a registered disciple by the sect master 3 years ago and enjoys the treatment of a true disciple? I have gone to Vulcan Peak to find you several times and wanted to communicate with you, but you have been in seclusion and I have not seen you every time. However, in the past 3 years, you have cultivated to the realm of supernatural powers. It is really shocking and incredible. When I was 25 years old, I cultivated to the realm of supernatural powers, and I was called the peerless genius by countless strong men from the sect. You, a person who has cultivated supernatural powers at the age of 19, should you be called a peerless monster? That's right. Take out your identity token and we'll add a contact information so we can contact you later." After hearing Wang Lei's words, Yang Feng hesitated for a moment, then took out his identity token and added a contact information with him. At this time, the nearby inner sect disciples all turned their attention to Yang Feng and commented involuntarily. "Is this Yang Feng? He looks so young. I'm already very young, okay. I am 19 years old this year, how can I not be young? Damn it. A 19-year-old monk in the magical realm is really amazing. I think back then, when I was 19 years old, I was still in the Gangxi realm. I really couldn't compare with others. Yang Feng is the registered disciple of the sect master, and he is not comparable to ordinary people like us. Yang Feng has cultivated from the magic realm to the magical power realm within 3 years, which shows that his talent is outstanding, but it is more difficult for him to get a good result in the inner sect competition. Aren't you talking nonsense? Yang Feng has just been promoted to the magical realm, how can he get good results in the inner sect competition? For Yang Feng, this inner sect competition is just for practice. The next inner sect competition will be his home court. That's right. With Yang Feng's talent, he will definitely win the next inner sect competition 10 years from now." Hearing the discussion among the inner disciples nearby, Yang Feng's expression did not change and he continued to chat with Wang Lei beside him. After a while of chatting, Yang Feng discovered that Wang Lei knew a lot about Xuantian sect. Wang Lei knew a lot of internal information that he didn't know. This opened Yang Feng's eyes and gave him a better understanding of Xuantian sect. At this time, Yang Feng secretly decided to communicate more with Wang Lei. "Quiet." As a loud voice sounded in the square, a group of law enforcement hall disciples, led by the master of the law enforcement hall, came out of the law enforcement hall. Window _tabula equals window _tabula push mode thumbs feed 01 container tabula below article thumbnail 300x250 placement below article thumbnail 300x250 target _type mix. Chapter 64 Qualifying Round. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I, Li Haoran, the master of the law enforcement hall, I will host the inner sect competition today. I have announced the rules of the inner sect competition in advance. You should already know it, so I won't say more. Now, let me focus on today's inner sect competition and the rewards for the outstanding ones. The first place in the inner sect competition will be rewarded with a low-grade Taoist weapon, the Xuan sword, and a bath in the Xuan pool. The second to 10th place in the inner sect competition will be rewarded with a top-quality treasure and a top-quality bloodline pill. The 11th to 20th place in the inner sect competition will be rewarded with a top-grade treasure and a top-grade bloodline pill. The 21st to the 1st place in the inner sect competition will be rewarded with a middle-grade treasure and a middle-grade bloodline pill. The rewards for today's inner sect competition are extremely generous. You must perform well and strive to get a good ranking. Now, you are divided into 10 teams and will conduct the qualifying trials one by one. That the master of the law enforcement hall looked at young Feng and others in the square and said in a calm tone. After saying that, the master of the law enforcement hall waved his hand, and a stream of light flew out of his body and landed on the square. Immediately afterwards, this stream of light automatically split and turned into 10 hemispherical arenas with a diameter of 1 kilometer. After that, 10 human realm battle puppets flew out from the main space ring of the law enforcement palace and fell into 10 hemispherical arenas. The Xuan sword, a low-grade Taoist weapon, bathes in the Xuan pool once, and the reward for first place in the inner sect competition is too generous. The best treasure, the best bloodline pill, is also very good, and the rewards for 2nd to 10th place are also very generous. Today's inner sect competition, I must show my true strength and strive to get a good ranking. I don't have high requirements, just make it into the top 10. I don't have high requirements. If I get into the top 20, I'll just do it. Worry. Your demands are not high. My first name is when I enter. As soon as Li Haoran, the master of the law enforcement hall, finished speaking, thousands of inner disciples in the square started talking and lined up in 10 teams in front of the 10 arenas. Senior brother Wang, what is Xuanqi? Hearing everyone's discussion, young Feng was a little puzzled and asked Wang Lei behind him. Junior brother Yang, Xuanqi is a treasured place for our Xuan sect. We accumulate a pool of divine water every few. This pool of sacred water allows a monk to develop his qualifications in all directions and become a treasure of top-notch materials. Under normal circumstances, this pool of sacred water can only be used by our Xuanzong law realm, who have cultivated to a high level, or who have established a big brother for the sect. I didn't expect that the sect would use this pool of divine water as a reward for the first place in the inner sect competition. It's so shocking. Because of this pool of sacred water, today's inner sect competition will be even more intense. However, junior brother Yang, you are not very lucky. Today, you will definitely not be able to get first place in the inner sect competition. 10 days later, even if you win the first place in the inner sect competition, you won't be able to get a chance to bathe in the Xianqi. After hearing Yang Feng's question, Wang Lei looked at Yang Feng with regret and said. Senior brother Wang, I, a monk in the realm of supernatural powers, am the first in this inner sect competition. Let me compete for it. Feeling Wang Lei's regretful gaze, Yang Feng smiled slightly. After saying that, Yang Feng ignored Wang Lei's probing gaze and changed the topic to talk about other topics. While Yang Feng and Wang Lei were talking, 10 inner disciples entered the 10 arenas and began to engage in fierce battles with 10 human realm battle puppets. In the end, only 3 of the 10 inner sect disciples defeated the human realm puppet, while the other 7 were defeated by the human realm puppet and missed this inner sect competition. Junior brother Yang, the human realm fighting puppet in the arena has only the strength of human realm early stage cultivator, but its comprehensive combat power far exceeds the human realm early stage monks, and is comparable to the human realm middle and even late stage monks. According to my guess, there will definitely be no more than 3,000 inner disciples who can pass the qualifying trial. Seeing 7 of the 10 inner disciples in the ring defeated, Wang Lei whispered to Yang Feng. Hearing Wang Lei's words, Yang Feng nodded slightly, without saying anything, and just looked at the 10 arenas quietly. Yang Feng and Wang Lei were in front, and soon it was Yang Feng's turn. Yang Feng walked slowly to the entrance of the ring, showed his identity token to the law enforcement disciple next to him, and entered the ring. After entering the arena, Yang Feng was surprised to find that the arena was only 1,000 meters in diameter from the front, but it was tens of thousands of meters in diameter inside, 10 times the diameter. When Yang Feng was observing the arena, the human-level battle puppet on the arena flashed and turned into a stream of light, rushing towards Yang Feng. Nua's big fist, with a bright aura, aimed towards Yang Feng's head. He blasted away, looking like he wanted to kill Yang Feng on the spot. Seeing the human realm battle puppet approaching him quickly, Yang Feng chuckled, pointed it as a sword, and waved it gently. A sharp sword light shot out from it, streaking through the void like lightning, pierced the power core of the human realm combat puppet, causing it to instantly fall to the ground and lose its combat effectiveness. Seeing this, the law enforcement brother next to the ring flashed a look of surprise in his eyes, and asked Yang Feng to come out of the ring, and then went into the ring to replace a power core for the human-level combat puppet. After coming out of the ring, Yang Feng did not leave the square, but walked to the side of the square to watch other inner disciples fighting. Junior brother Yang, your swordsmanship is very powerful. With a casual wave of your hand, you can cripple that human-level combat puppet. It's really shocking. Tell me, are you confident that you can win the championship? If you are confident that you can win the championship, I want to bet on you to win and make a fortune in spirit stones. Wang Lei came out of the ring, walked quickly to Yang Feng, casually set up a soundproof barrier, and said in a low voice. Brother Wang, who opened the gambling game? Should I bet on myself to win? How many spirit stones can I bet at most? What are the odds? Hearing Wang Lei's words, Yang Feng's eyes lit up and he asked softly. Brother Yang, this is not a place to talk. Let's go to your fire god peak and I'll introduce it to you. Seeing Yang Feng's appearance, Wang Lei's heart moved and he said with a smile. Okay. Yang Feng nodded, responded, and took off with Wang Lei, flying towards the fire god peak. For Yang Feng, the qualification selection is not as important as earning spirit stones. Yang Feng is confident that he can win the inner door competition. If you can earn a lot of spirit stones in the process of winning the championship, wouldn't it be great? Chapter 65 Gambling. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Senior Brother Wang, please give me a detailed introduction to the gambling situation. After Yang Feng and Wang Lei sat down on both sides of the reception room of the Vulcan Peak Hall, they asked. Junior Brother Yang, our Xuantian sect's inner sex gambling game was opened by one of our Xuantian sect's deputy sects. This deputy sect of our Xuantian sect has no other hobbies but just likes gambling. However, due to the restrictions of the sect rules, the deputy sect cannot set up a fixed gambling bureau in the Xuantian sect. It can only set up a temporary gambling bureau during each inner sect competition to satisfy the gambling addiction. This year's inner gate bet will officially start in 6 days. If Junior Brother Yang wants to place bets, we can go together then. Based on past experience, the odds for each inner disciple are not fixed, generally ranging from 10 to 1 to 1 to 10,000. Due to the restrictions of the sect's rules, the bet cannot exceed 1 billion low-grade souls. Seeing Yang Feng's anxious look, Wang Lei smiled slightly and began to introduce the details of the gambling to Yang Feng. You can only bet 1 billion low-grade spirits at most. This is too little. After listening to Wang Lei's introduction, Yang Feng whispered softly. Originally, Yang Feng wanted to take the opportunity to make a fortune, but now he could only make a fortune, which made Yang Feng a little disappointed. Junior Brother Yang, 1 billion low-grade spirits is quite a lot. Many true disciples don't even have 100 million low-grade spirits, let alone 1 billion low-grade spirits. Hearing Yang Feng's muttering, Wang Lei couldn't help but retort. Don't I want to make more money? Senior Brother Wang, if I find some outer disciples to help me place bets, is that okay? Will there be any problems? Hearing Wang Lei's retorting voice, Yang Feng said softly. Junior Brother Yang, you'd better not do this. Our Xuantian sect does not advocate gambling. If you do this, it is likely to arouse the resentment of the strong men in the sect. It's okay if you place your own bets for fun, but if you let many outer disciples place bets for you, the nature will change. Although you can earn a lot of souls, your future path will not be easy. Also, zone people are the ones who hate gambling the most. If you dare to do this, you will never be accepted as a direct disciple by the sect. As soon as Yang Feng finished speaking, Wang Lei quickly persuaded him. That counts. After hearing Wang Lei's words, Yang Feng immediately gave up this plan to make a fortune. Xuantian Zong is Yang Feng's backer, and Yang Feng doesn't want to lose his backer because of a little bit of wisdom. After that, Yang Feng and Wang Lei talked about many secrets of Xuantian sect, and agreed to go to the gambling bureau to place bets together in 6 days. After Wang Lei left, Yang Feng thought for a while, then went to the training room of the hall to practice the 9 turns of soul forging technique to improve his soul power. Soon, 6 days passed, and the qualifying trial officially ended. A total of 2,923 people passed the qualifying trial and entered the second phase of the knockout round. At this time, Yang Feng and Wang Lei flew towards the Internal Affairs Hall deep in the Xuantian Mountains together. When Yang Feng and Wang Lei arrived at the Internal Affairs Hall, they found a screen erected on the square of the Internal Affairs Hall. The information of the 2,923 inner disciples who have passed the qualification selection are all on the screen for anyone to view at will. At the same time, tens of thousands of inner disciples and true disciples gathered in the square. These inner disciples and true disciples all come here to place bets, and they all want to have fun and earn a fortune by the way. Seeing the lively scene in the square, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with surprise, but Wang Lei was not surprised and directly pulled Yang Feng towards the place where he was betting. At this time, most of the inner disciples and true disciples were in front of the screen checking the information of the 2,923 inner disciples and considering betting targets. Therefore, there were not many people in the betting area, and Yang Feng and Wang Lei quickly squeezed to the front. What are the odds for inner disciple Yang Feng to win? Wang Lei asked the betting staff. After hearing Wang Lei's words, the bettor immediately checked on an instrument and said, the odds of Yang Feng winning the championship are 1 to 10. Hearing the bettor's words, Yang Feng immediately knew that his performance in the qualifying round was a bit excessive, which exposed a lot of his strength, resulting in his odds not being too high. If Yang Feng knew about this gambling game, he would definitely disguise it and let himself spend all his strength to pass the qualification assessment, so that his odds could reach 1 to 100, or even 1 to 1,000. Make a fortune. However, it's too late now. You can only earn a little bit. While thinking, Yang Feng took out a space ring from his body, handed it to the bettor and said, I want to bet on Yang Feng to win 1 billion souls. Hearing Yang Feng's words, the bettor's eyes flashed with surprise. He took a deep look at Yang Feng, took the space ring, and checked the number of souls inside. After confirming that the 1 billion souls were correct, the betting staff asked Yang Feng for an identity card. After some manipulation of the betting instrument, he returned the identity card to Yang Feng and said, okay. If you win, you will win. Come and collect your gambling money with your identity card. Bet on me that Yang Feng will win 1 billion souls. Seeing Yang Feng betting his 1 billion spirits, Wang Lei's eyes flashed, and he immediately handed a space ring and his identity card to the betting staff. Yang Feng's odds have dropped to 1:8, do you still want to bet? The betting staff looked at the information on the betting instrument and asked Wang Lei. Bet. Wang Lei responded without hesitation. After receiving Wang Lei's affirmative answer, the betting staff immediately handled the betting procedures for Wang Lei. Yang Feng actually bet on himself to win the championship with 10 billion spirits. It's so shocking. Yang Feng bet on himself to win the championship. Does he have this confidence? Yang Feng must have confidence in himself. Otherwise, would he dare to bet on himself to win the championship with 10 billion spirits? I remember that Yang Feng is not tall. Where did he get 10 billion spirits? Why do you ask him where he got 10 billion spirits? Yang Feng is a registered disciple of the sect. Isn't it a simple thing to get 10 billion spirits? It's okay for Yang Feng to bet on himself to win the championship. Why did Wang Lei also bet on Yang Feng to win the championship? Wang Lei is a know-it-all in our Xuantian sect. Since he dares to bet on Yang Feng to win the championship, there must be some news that we don't know. Fuck. Yang Feng's odds have dropped from 1 to 10 to 1 to 1. Yang Feng is our Xuantian sect's peerless demon. He really has the potential to win the championship. I'll take a gamble. Bet 10 million spirits on Yang Feng to win the championship. Bet 1 million spirits on Yang Feng to win the championship. Bet 30 million spirits on Yang Feng to win the championship. After watching Yang Feng and Wang Lei's betting actions, the inner disciples nearby began to discuss. Some of the inner disciples gritted their teeth and followed Yang Feng and Wang Lei to bet, ready to take a gamble. Chapter 66 Knockout Round. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Yang Feng and Wang Lei came to the square of the law enforcement hall together and waited quietly. A quarter of an hour later, Xuanhuan, the master of the law enforcement hall, came out of the law enforcement hall with a group of law enforcement team members. He looked at Yang Feng and others and said, "I obtained a high-grade Taoist weapon trial tower beforehand. The trial tower has its own space inside, with a total of 7 floors. Each level of space is extremely vast, like a shaped cave world, and contains huge energy. These energies will automatically generate energy bodies to attack the testers who enter the space. According to my tests, the energy bodies condensed in these 7 levels of space have the combat effectiveness of monks in the mana realm, yin and yang mirror, heavenly realm, magical power realm, golden elixir realm, Yuanying realm, and Xuantian realm. Knockout competition will be held in this high-grade Taoist weapon trial tower. After you enter the trial tower, you can get corresponding points for every energy body you kill. When you all come out of the trial tower, the top 100 people will advance to the next stage of the arena battle, and everyone else will be eliminated. The accumulation of killing energy bodies is as follows. Killing the energy bodies in the early, middle and late stages of the mana realm, is 1G, 1G, and each G respectively. Kill the energy bodies in the early, middle and late stages of the yin and yang realm, and you will get 100 accumulations, 100 accumulations, and 1000 accumulations respectively. Killing the energy body in the early stage, middle stage, and late stage of the heavenly realm, you will get 10,000 accumulations, 0,000 accumulations, and 10,000 accumulations. Kill the energy body in the early stage, middle stage, and late stage of the magical power realm, and you will get 1 million accumulations, 1 million accumulations, and 10 million accumulations respectively. Kill the energy body in the early stage, middle stage, and late stage of the golden core realm, and you will get 100 million accumulations, 100 million accumulations, and 100 million accumulations. Kill the nascent soul realm energy body, directly past the elimination, and enter the arena battle. After saying that, Xuanhuan, the master of the law enforcement hall, waved his hand, and a 7-story pagoda flew out from his body and landed on the square of the law enforcement hall, releasing a bright spiritual light. At this time, Xuanhuan, the master of the law enforcement hall, swept his sharp eyes from Yang Feng and others, stayed on Yang Feng for a few seconds, and said in a calm tone, "Only the standard weapons issued by the sect are allowed to be used in the inner sect competition. No other weapons are allowed. If there are no problems, you can enter the trial tower." After hearing Xuanhuan's words, the inner disciples in the square flashed and flew towards the trial tower. "This is targeting me. I'm not allowed to use Taoist weapons." After feeling the gaze of Xuanhuan, the master of the law enforcement hall, and hearing his specially told words, Yang Feng helplessly shrugged his shoulders, whispered softly, jumped into the air, and flew towards the trial tower. "Isn't this nonsense? If you are allowed to use Taoist weapons, the inner sect competition will not require you, you will directly win the first place." Hearing Yang Feng's muttering, Wang Lei on the side rolled his eyes, whispered to himself, jumped into the air, and flew towards the trial tower. "The space on the first floor is huge, and I'm the only one within 1,000 miles. Yang Feng looked at the empty sky full of yellow sand around him and sighed softly. While Yang Feng was sighing with emotion, an energy person in the early stage of the mana realm condensed 100 meters away. Seeing the energy man in the early stage of the mana realm, Yang Feng waved his right hand, and a sharp sword light shot out from it, easily piercing the energy man in the early stage of the mana realm, causing it to disperse, with little auras of light. At this time, streams of pure energy surged in the void, and 100 energy people in the early stage of the magic realm condensed and formed in the void. Xuantian sword technique. Yang Feng casually glanced at the 100 energy people in the early stage of the mana realm in the void. With a thought, a low-grade treasure sword appeared in his palm. Under his stimulation, he released a stream of energy. The sharp sword light struck at the bodies of more than 100 energy people in the early stage of the magic realm. Bang! 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 Amidst the crisp sounds, each energy person in the early stage of the magic realm was chopped into pieces by the sharp sword light, and countless auras disappeared into nothingness. Soon, countless energies surged in the void, and 1,000 energy people in the early stage of the magic realm condensed into the void. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged. He waved his big hand and waved out the low-grade treasure in his hand. A series of sharp sword lights shot out from it, easily crushing 1,000 energy people in the early stage of the magic realm. At this time, the energy in the void continued to surge, condensing 10,000 energy people in the early stage of the mana realm. However, these 10,000 energy people in the early stage of the mana realm had just condensed and formed, and were killed by Yang Feng using the 10,000 sword art, killing them with one sword. Immediately afterwards, the energy in the void continued to surge, and 10,000 energy people in the middle stage of the mana realm condensed and formed in the void. However, 10,000 energy people in the middle stage of the mana realm were killed instantly by Yang Feng's 10,000 sword technique. After that, 10,000 energy people in the late stage of the mana realm condensed in the void, and were destroyed by Yang Feng's 10,000 sword technique. At this time, a beam of teleportation light enveloped Yang Feng, causing him to disappear and appear on the second floor of the trial tower. The rules of the second floor of the trial tower are the same as those of the first floor. First, gather one energy person from the early stage of the yin-yang mirror, and then gather 100, 1,000, or 10,000. Immediately afterwards, 10,000 energy people in the middle stage of yin-yang mirror, and 10,000 energy people in the late stage of yin-yang mirror. Yang Feng's strength is extremely powerful, and the yin-yang realm energy body condensed on the second level is simply no match for him. After swinging 6 swords in succession, Yang Feng was enveloped in a teleportation light, disappeared on the second level, and appeared on the third level. Yang Feng is worthy of being the named younger brother of the sect leader. He is indeed extremely powerful, and everyone is amazed. Topping the standings, Yang Feng indeed has the strength and opportunity to win the championship. Yang Feng has only been in the inner sect for more than a few years. He has the opportunity to take the first place in the inner sect competition. I'm really envious. According to Yang Feng's cultivation speed, if you don't have much, can cultivate to the golden elixir realm and become a true disciple. According to my speculation, if Yang Feng wins the first place in the inner sect competition, he should be able to condense the golden elixir while bathing in Xuantian Lake and be promoted to a golden elixir realm monk. The sacred water in Xuantian Lake contains extremely huge energy. When it transforms people's qualifications and talents, it can also make people break through the realm. It's so precious. Yang Feng can be the registered disciple of the sect leader. Once he reaches the golden core realm and is promoted to the true disciple, he will be accepted by the sect leader as his direct disciple. His status will far exceed that of ordinary true disciples like us. The law enforcement disciples of the law enforcement hall in the law enforcement hall square couldn't help but talk when they saw Yang Feng, who was at the top of the trial tower standings, with envy and jealousy in their eyes. Window, _Tabula equals window, _Tabula, Tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container. Tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300x250, target _type, mix. Chapter 67, Arena Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Almost. If you continue, it will be too much. Yang Feng used the 10,000 sword technique to kill 10,000 golden late-stage energy bodies. He muttered softly and left the trial tower directly instead of going to the 6th floor of the trial tower. Yang Feng, come out. Yang Feng's ranking as the number 1 in the trial tower is stable, and it is impossible for others to catch up. Based on Yang Feng's points, it can be easily inferred that he killed all 10,000 late-stage gold energy bodies. Yang Feng not only has high points in the trial tower, but he is also fast. It's really amazing. Obviously, Yang Feng did not use all his strength, otherwise he would not have come out from the 5th floor of the trial tower. but he would have come out from the 6th floor of the trial tower. Young Feng has only been in the industry for 3 years, and he can destroy late-stage energy bodies worth 10,000 gold with his sword. It's really shocking and unbelievable, seeing Young Feng come out of the trial tower, the law enforcement disciples in the square of the law enforcement hall and the inner disciples who came out of the trial tower in advance all exclaimed, with shock in their eyes. Young Feng ignored everyone's shock. He stood in the corner of the square and turned his attention to the data on the standings in the trial tower. Wang Lei actually has one of the top 10 talents. You really can't tell the difference between appearance and appearance. Seeing that Wang Lei was ranked 9th in the standings in the trial tower, a look of surprise flashed in Yang Feng's eyes and he murmured softly. After muttering, Yang Feng stood there, waiting quietly. Not long after, an inner disciple flew out from the trial tower. At noon, the last inner disciple flew out of the trial tower. The standings in the trial tower were fixed, and the points of the top inner disciples' names were marked in red. Yang Feng was impressively at the top of the standings, while Wang Lei was ranked 8th, causing countless inner disciples to exclaim and discuss. At this time, Li Haoran, the master of the law enforcement hall, took a step forward, read out the list of the top inner disciples, put away the trial tower, informed everyone of the time and place of the 3rd stage of the arena battle, and returned to the law enforcement hall. Yang Feng and other inner disciples also flew towards the outside of the law enforcement hall in small groups. Junior brother Yang, you are quite in the limelight today. When you see those popular champions, they look at you with eyes full of jealousy and envy, and they want to eat you. On the way back to Xuanhuan, Wang Lei said to Yang Feng with a smile on his face. Senior brother Wang, you are not bad at all. You are 8th in the standings. You have a great chance of breaking into the top 10, causing countless inner disciples to exclaim and discuss. Yang Feng responded with a smile on his face. How can I compare with you? Wang Lei shook his head gently and said. During the chat, Yang Feng and Wang Lei flew onto the Xuanhuan, and then discussed the Ming arena battle in the living room of the main hall of the Xuanhuan. In the early morning of the next day, Yang Feng and Wang Lei went to the Xuanzong martial arts arena together with Feiqi. Xuanzong's martial arts performance field is the place where Xuanzong performs martial arts. It is also the place where Xuanzong's inter-sect competition finals, true disciples compete, elders compete, and Xuanzong holds important celebrations. There are many formations arranged around the Xianyan martial arts field, which can withstand the attacks of Laurel monks. Xuan sect's martial arts performance ground is closed most of the time. It is only open when Xuan sect holds inter-sect competition finals, true disciple competitions, inter-sect elders compete, and important celebrations. When Yang Feng and Wang Lei came to the martial arts arena, they were surprised to find that many inner-sect disciples, true disciples, and outer-sect elders were already sitting in the audience stage around the martial arts arena. After a look of surprise flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, he flew with Wang Lei and landed in the center of the martial arts arena. The former disciples gathered together, waiting for the arena battle to begin. After a while, Law Enforcement Hall Li Haoran led a group of Law Enforcement Hall disciples to the martial arts arena. At this time, Li Haoran moved up to the rostrum of the martial arts arena, looked at Yang Feng and others in the martial arts arena and said, the rules of the arena battle are very simple, that is, a 2x2 battle. The winner gets 1 point, and a tie gets 0 points. 0 points for losers. After the arena battle is over, we will be ranked according to the number of points. Now, I announce that the ring battle begins. As soon as Li Haoran finished speaking, the large formation on the martial arts field was activated, and 50 huge transparent stages were condensed into the martial arts field. Channels of teleportation light lit up on the martial arts arena, wrapping Yang Feng and others and teleporting them to 50 arenas. Xuan sword technique. Looking at the inner disciple who was thousands of meters away, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged. He gave a light drink and the low-grade treasure in his hand turned into a sharp sword light and slashed towards the inner disciple. Facing the fierce sword light attack, the inner disciple did not dare to neglect, and quickly activated the magic in his body, and used a middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon to try to resist the attack of the low-grade treasure weapon. Bang! In the midst of a crisp sound, Yang Feng activated the low-grade treasure weapon and easily knocked the inner disciple's mid-grade defensive spiritual weapon away, and stabbed the inner disciple with unabated force, causing it turned into a stream of light and disappeared on the spot without a trace. Kill instantly with one sword, that's too fast. Although Yang Feng is an inner disciple, he enjoys the treatment of a true disciple and can use low-grade treasures. He has a considerable advantage in terms of weapons. Yang Feng has the lower-grade Taoist weapon Suzaku's sword in his hand. Using only lower-grade treasures to fight the enemy is already pretty good. That's right. If the inner sect competition didn't restrict weapons, Yang Feng wouldn't have to do anything, just show the Suzaku's sword and he could sweep all the inner sect disciples. Even if weapons were restricted, with Yang Feng's performance in combat, he could sweep all the inner sect disciples. I bet 30 million spirit stones on Yang Feng, 1:5 odds, this time I will make a lot of spirit stones. I don't bet as much as you, only 10 million spirit stones, also 1:5 odds, I can make 100 million spirit stones. Fuck. If I bet on others to win, wouldn't I lose miserably? Seeing Yang Feng kill his opponent with one sword and showing a strong fighting spirit, many inner disciples and true disciples on the audience stand started to discuss. While everyone was discussing, an inner disciple who was a favorite to win the championship appeared on Yang Feng's stage under a beam of teleportation light. Tornado, the inner disciple who was the favorite to win the championship saw Yang Feng on the stage, his face changed slightly, and he immediately roared, mobilizing the magic in his body, and fully activating the magical talismans in his sea of consciousness, making the spiritual light shine brightly. Then, a series of wind blades about 10 feet long condensed on the stage, forming a 10-foot-long tornado, sweeping towards Yang Feng. Chapter 68 Winning the Championship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cut. Seeing the tornado approaching rapidly, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged. He shouted softly and waved the long sword, a low-grade treasure in his hand. A sharp sword light shot out from it and faced the tornado. Bang! 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 Amidst the crisp sounds, the sharp sword lights and tornadoes collided together, and waves of terrifying power burst out from the sword lights, crushing the tornadoes and turning them into little bits of blue light, disappearing into nothingness. Immediately afterwards, the sharp sword light fell on the inner disciple who was the favorite to win the championship, turning it into a spiritual light and disappearing from the ring. Damn it! Yang Feng actually killed Feng Lingzi instantly with one sword. This is so unbelievable. Feng Lingzi is the favorite to win this inner sect competition. She has peak magical power and cultivation strength. She has killed a mid-stage golden core monk. Her combat power is unparalleled. But she was instantly killed by Yang Feng with a sword. Kill Feng Lingzi instantly with one sword. Yang Feng's fighting power is too fierce. With one sword kill, Yang Feng will definitely win the championship. Yang Feng is indeed the sect master who has taken a liking to this person. He is indeed extraordinary and cannot be compared to ordinary people. Seeing Yang Feng instantly kill his opponent with one sword, countless inner disciples and true disciples on the audience stage were stunned one after another and couldn't help but scream in surprise. Those disciples who were betting on Yang Feng to win the championship showed expressions of excitement and ecstasy. Those disciples who had bet on other inner disciples to win the championship became depressed. At this time, Yang Feng couldn't listen to the comments on the audience stage, and he didn't have time to watch the situation on the audience stage, because another favorite to win the championship appeared on the stage. Fire Dragon. Looking at Yang Feng on the stage, the face of the favorite to win the championship changed slightly. Without any hesitation, he gave a light drink and activated the fire spirit body to the extreme. Suddenly, I saw streams of pure fire magic power pouring out of his body, condensing into a huge fire dragon tens of feet long, and rushed towards Yang Feng with its fangs and claws. Go! Seeing the fire dragon rushing toward him, Yang Feng's expression remained unchanged. With a slight drink, the long sword, a low-grade treasure weapon, turned into a stream of light and went straight to meet the huge fire dragon. Boom! In the midst of a violent explosion, the low-grade treasure long sword and the huge fire dragon collided together, and the terrifying power exploded instantly, directly smashing the huge fire dragon into pieces, turning into a diffuse fire, and disappearing invisible. Under the urging of Yang Feng, the long sword, a low-grade treasure weapon, stabbed the body of the favorite to win the championship, causing it to turn into a stream of light and disappear on the ring. At this time, a beam of teleportation light appeared on Yang Feng's arena. Another favorite to win the championship is now Yang Feng on the stage. 10,000 Sword Ju. Looking at Yang Feng on the stage, the favorite to win the championship gave a light drink, then activated the magic power in his body, swung the sword in his hand, and performed a big move. Immediately afterwards, a series of sharp sword lights were seen, shooting out from the long sword of the spiritual weapon in his hand, turning into a dense rain of swords, slashing towards Yang Feng, trying to cut Yang Feng into pieces. The appearance of fragments. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng's expression did not change. He waved the low-grade treasure in his hand and easily smashed the sword light towards him one after another, turning them into little bits of light and disappearing invisible. After that, Yang Feng's body flashed and turned into an afterimage, disappearing from the place. Now in front of the favorite player, under his surprised eyes, he punched his head, causing him to turn into a stream of light and disappeared on the stage. Not long after, a beam of teleportation light flashed on the ring, and an inner disciple appeared 1,000 meters away from Yang Feng. However, this inner disciple was no longer the favorite to win the championship. Before he could make a move, he was instantly killed by Yang Feng with a sword. In the following process, no matter who appeared on the ring, Yang Feng would immediately kill them without giving them a chance to move. When Wang Lei appeared on Yang Feng's stage, Yang Feng didn't move his sword for the first time, but said with a smile on his face, "Senior brother Wang, do you want me to send you away, or do you want to go by yourself?" After hearing what Yang Feng said, Wang Lei helplessly shook his head and said, "I'll go by myself." After saying that, Wang Lei voluntarily admitted defeat, was wrapped in a beam of teleportation light and disappeared from the ring. After that, Yang Feng continued to perform the previous method. As soon as someone appeared on the ring, he slashed him with his sword and blasted him into the ring. During this process, no inner disciple was able to block Yang Feng's sword, which fully demonstrated Yang Feng's terrifying combat power. One sword at a time. Yang Feng's strength is too fierce. There is no suspense about the first place in the inner sect competition. Yang Feng has only been practicing for more than 3 years, and he won the championship in the inner sect competition. It's really amazing. I originally thought I was an arrogant person, but compared to Yang Feng, I'm just trash. No, Yang Fengbi, you are not worthy. With Yang Feng acting like a monster, aren't you making yourself uncomfortable? As long as Yang Feng survives, our Xian sect will have one more pillar. With the protection of the sect, as long as Yang Feng doesn't seek death himself, he can't die. Seeing Yang Feng easily defeating opponents one after another with one strike of his sword, the inner disciples and true disciples in the audience were all shocked and exclaimed involuntarily. Li Haoran, the lord of the law enforcement hall, who was in charge of presiding over the inner sect competition, also smiled faintly, happy that the sect had found a demon. Soon, Yang Feng defeated 99 opponents, obtained 99 points, locked the first place in the inner sect competition in advance, was teleported to the arena, and now was in the martial arts arena. Yang Feng, come here. At this time, Li Haoran, the lord of the law enforcement hall, waved to Yang Feng. After hearing Li Haoran's words, Yang Feng immediately took off and flew to Li Haoran's side. Yang Feng, you are very good. The head brother has accepted a good apprentice. Li Haoran patted Yang Feng on the shoulder and praised with a smile on his face. Thank you for the compliment, Lord Hall Master. Yang Feng responded respectfully. Seeing Yang Feng's respectful and humble appearance, Li Haoran nodded gently and stopped talking. At noon, the ring battle ended, and the 50 transparent rings automatically disappeared. The ring score list now appeared in the void on the martial arts field, clearly entering the vision of everyone. At this time, Li Haoran stepped forward and announced loudly, the first place in this inner door competition is Yang Feng, and he will be rewarded with a low-grade Taoist Xian sword and a bath in the Xian pool. After saying that, Li Haoran's mind moved, and a Xianjin long sword flew from his body, suspended in the air, releasing a dazzling aura and a terrifying sword light. Chapter 69 Bathing in Xuantian Pool. You are listening at NovelFold.audio. Young Feng, you pour the magic into the Xuantian sword, and I will assist you in refining the Xuantian sword. After Li Haoran put down the Xuantian sword, a low-grade Taoist weapon, he said to young Feng on the side. Hearing Li Haoran's words, young Feng didn't hesitate at all, and immediately mobilized the magic in his body and poured it into Xuantian sword. Soon, with the assistance of Li Haoran, young Feng refined the low-grade Taoist weapon Xuantian sword and put it into the Sea of Consciousness. The Xuantian sword, a low-grade Taoist weapon, entered Yang Feng's Sea of Consciousness and immediately emitted an excited sword cry. The Suzaku sword, a low-grade Taoist weapon, each occupied half of the disc. Seeing Yang Feng refining the Xuantian sword, a low-grade Taoist weapon, Li Haoran asked Yang Feng to stand on the side of the rostrum, and then shouted to the inner disciples on the martial arts field, the 2nd to 10th place on the stage to receive the award. After hearing Li Haoran's words, Wang Lei and his 8 inner disciples rose into the air and landed on the podium to accept Li Haoran's award. Soon, Li Haoran gave Wang Lei and other 9 inner disciples a top-grade treasure and a top-grade bloodline. Afterwards, the 11th to 20th placers flew to the rostrum, and each received a high-grade treasure and a high-grade bloodline. Finally, the 20th to the 100th place flew to the rostrum, and each received a middle-grade treasure and a middle-grade bloodline. After the awards were given, Li Haoran waved his hand and told everyone to disperse, then took Yang Feng away from the martial arts arena and flew deep into the Xuantian mountains. After flying deep in the Xuantian mountains for a long time, Li Haoran took Yang Feng and landed in a valley shrouded in clouds and mist. Li Haoran, the master of the law enforcement hall, brings Yang Feng, the first-place winner in this year's inter-sect competition, to take a bath in Xuantian Lake. At this time, Li Haoran cast his gaze deep into the valley and shouted loudly, "Go back! Let Yang Feng come in alone." As soon as Li Haoran finished speaking, an old voice sounded in the valley and clearly reached Yang Feng and Li Haoran's ears. Immediately afterwards, a light door appeared out of thin air deep in the valley. "Yang Feng, you go first. You can go take a bath in Xuantian pool by yourself." Li Haoran pointed to the depths of the valley, told Yang Feng, then jumped into the air and flew away into the distance, and Yang Feng slowly walked towards the light gate deep in the valley. When Yang Feng stepped into the light door, his figure disappeared instantly and appeared in a natural cave. The natural cave has an area of approximately more than 3,000 square meters. Except for an old man with white hair sitting cross-legged and a round pool 10 meters in diameter, there is nothing there. "Xuantianqi is right here, go and take a bath yourself. You only have 1 day, and after 1 day, you have to leave. Also, remember to take off your clothes and take a bath, otherwise it will affect the effect of the bath." The white-haired old man opened his closed eyes, glanced at Yang Feng, and said in a calm tone, "Yes, senior." Feeling the terrifying coercion inadvertently emanating from the white-haired old man, Yang Feng responded respectfully, walked quickly to the round pool with a diameter of 10 meters, took off his clothes and entered the round pool. The circular pool was 10 meters in diameter and 8 meters deep. As soon as Yang Feng entered it, he was submerged by the water. However, Yang Feng didn't care about this, and instead sat cross-legged on the bottom of the pool, running Xuantian Ju, and absorbing the energy in the pool water. The energy contained in the pool water was extremely mysterious and powerful. Once it entered Yang Feng's body, it penetrated deep into Yang Feng's blood cells and began to strengthen Yang Feng's body. At this time, the energy in the pool began to penetrate into Yang Feng's head, strengthening Yang Feng's head. Even a part of the energy in the pool water penetrated into Yang Feng's soul, purifying Yang Feng's soul and making Yang Feng's soul become more pure and powerful. Feeling the changes in his body, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with excitement. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately activated the Xuantian Ju and absorbed as much energy as possible in the pool water. An hour later, Yang Feng's body has undergone obvious changes. The activity of the cells in his body has increased a lot, his understanding has improved a little, his understanding of martial arts and martial arts is more thorough, and his soul exudes a pure aura, stronger than before. A lot. At that time, the magical power talisman in Yang Feng's Sea of Consciousness was greatly strengthened by the energy in the pool, and his spiritual power was greatly improved. Seeing this scene, Yang Feng thought, and two magical talismans flew from the Sea of Consciousness, soaked in the pool water, and frantically absorbed the energy in the pool water. The two magic power talismans were condensed by Yang Feng through hard work. They contain Yang Feng's understanding of the fire god's secret art, Xuantian's secret art, and also contain the magic power that Yang Feng worked hard to condense. They are the foundation of Yang Feng's cultivation and the most important thing for Yang Feng. Powerful weapon. After these two magical talismans were strengthened 10,000 times by the system, their power far exceeded that of a first-level monk. They also had some special functions. As soon as they appeared in the pool of water, they would release a powerful suction force and absorb the pool water crazily. The energy in it, suddenly, all I saw was that the water in the pool was decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The movement in the pool immediately caught the attention of the white-haired old man. What a powerful magical talisman! The power of these two magical talismans is more than 10,000 times that of level monks, and it is more powerful than the gold condensed by ordinary gold-level monks. Our Xuantian sect wants another evil genius. Seeing the two magical talismans in the pool, a gleam of light flashed in the eyes of the white-haired old man, and he sighed in his heart, and then closed his eyes to rest. Almost done, it can condense gold. That when the pool water dropped to 5 meters, Yang Feng felt the vast amount of magic contained in the two magical talismans, muttered softly, and condensed gold. Under Yang Feng's urging, the two magical talismans quickly merged together, condensed into gold, emitting brilliant golden light, and countless mysterious runes swam in it. Ding! You have condensed a gold. The effect of cultivation is returned 10,000 times, and the gold you condensed is enhanced 10,000 times. At this time, a crisp sound rang in Yang Feng's ears, and an invisible force entered the gold condensed by Yang Feng, making the gold shine brightly and its power soar 10,000 times. What a terrifying gold! Although this gold only contains two magical powers, it has extremely terrifying power, which is tens of thousands of times that of ordinary gold, and is more powerful than the yuanying of most yuanying cultivators. It's really surprising. The white-haired old man opened his eyes and looked at the gold condensed by Yang Feng, and exclaimed in his heart involuntarily. When the white-haired old man exclaimed, the gold condensed by Yang Feng released a powerful suction force, absorbing all the water in the pool, turning it into pure energy and blending it into the gold, making the power contained in the gold even more powerful and the runes inside even more mysterious, complicated and profound. The pool water was completely absorbed by the gold, and Yang Feng immediately put the gold into his sea of consciousness and quickly put on his clothes. Seeing this, the white-haired old man waved his hand, and a white light wrapped Yang Feng, teleporting him to a natural cave and appearing in a valley surrounded by clouds and mist. At this time, Yang Feng's identity token suddenly sounded, and the voice of the leader of Xuantian sect came from it. I'm waiting for you in Xuantian Hall. Chapter 70 Disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Disciple has met the master. Yang Feng came to the Xuan hall, looked at Li Wudi, the leader of the Xuan sect, who was sitting in the main seat of the hall, and saluted with a respectful tone. Yang Feng, you have reached the golden elixir realm and are qualified to be my direct disciple. Are you willing to become my teacher and become my direct disciple? Looking at Yang Feng below, Li Wudi asked in a calm tone. Disciple is willing. It is an honor for me to be able to become my master's personal disciple. Yang Feng knelt down and kowtowed to Li Wudi, speaking in a respectful tone. Get up. There are two jade talismans here, namely the teleportation talisman and the amulet. The teleportation talisman contains a teleportation formation. Once activated, as long as you are still in the martial continent, can teleport you directly back to the Xuan sect hall. There is a defensive array inside the amulet. Once activated, can release a protective shield to block the full blow of the strong man in the cave realm, giving you time to use the teleportation talisman and return to Xuan sect. With these two jade talismans, as long as you are careful, you won't fall outside under normal circumstances. Looking at Yang Feng kneeling down, Li Wudi waved his hand, and two jade talismans flew from his body and floated in front of Yang Feng. Thank you, master. Yang Feng stood up, took the 2 jade talismans, put them into the space ring, and thanked them with an excited look on his face. Yang Feng, you have been in the Xuanzong for more than a year, and you have cultivated to the golden elixir realm. Your cultivation speed is one of the best in the history of our Xuanzong. You are a peerless evil talent, and your future is limitless. But your cultivation speed is too fast and your experience is too little. This is not a good thing for you. After all, a person's strength and combat effectiveness depend not only on his cultivation strength, but also on his combat experience, psychological quality and other factors. For the sake of your health and growth, I hope you will stop practicing in seclusion in the sect and just travel around the sect for a while. I have a task here. There is no time limit, and there is no requirement to complete the task. You just need to do your best to complete the task. The most important thing for you this time is to travel, experience all kinds of people, increase social experience, combat experience, and forge a strong will. The second most important thing is to complete the mission as much as possible. If there is nothing else, you can go to the House of Internal Affairs to go through the formalities for becoming a true disciple. You can then travel around. Seeing Yang Feng put away the jade talisman, Li Wudi said calmly. While speaking, Li Wudi waved his hand, and a mission jade slip flew from his body. It was caught by Yang Feng and put into the space ring. Yes, master. Yang Feng responded respectfully, turned around and left the Xuan Hall. Senior brother, Yang Feng is only 9 years old and traveling around. Isn't it too early? After Yang Feng left, Li Haoran, the master of the law enforcement hall, was now in the Xian Hall and asked with some doubts. It's late. Yang Feng's cultivation speed is too fast. In a few years, he may have cultivated to the Xuantian realm or even the law realm. At that time, if Yang Feng was allowed to travel, the effect would not be as good as it is now. At the same time, when Yang Feng encountered enemies at that time, it was also different from now. If you are not careful, even if I give you 2 jade charms, it will be difficult for you to save your life. Now, Yang Feng's cultivation level is not high, and he will not be too strong when he encounters enemies. I have given him 2 jade talismans. As long as there are no accidents, he can come back safely, Li Wudi explained softly. Senior brother, the leader is still thoughtful. After some training, Yang Feng will become the pillar of our Xian sect. When the time comes, I hope Yang Feng can go to our law enforcement hall to practice for a while. Li Haoran nodded and said to Li Wudi with a smile on his face. Can. Li Wudi nodded in agreement. After receiving Li Wudi's affirmative answer, Li Haoran turned around and left the Xuan Hall, the Internal Affairs Hall of Xianzong. Wang Bin handed a level identity token and 2 sets of clothes to Yang Feng and said, Yang Feng, these are your true disciple token and true disciple clothes. Keep them. Thank you, Palace Master Wang. Yang Feng took the token and clothes and said with a smile on his face. Yang Feng, if you need my help with anything, just contact me directly through the identity token. No need to be polite. Seeing Yang Feng taking the token and clothes, Wang Bin looked at Yang Feng with a smile and said. Then I'd like to thank Palace Master Wang first. If necessary, I will definitely trouble Palace Master Wang. Yang Feng smiled slightly, responded softly, turned around and left. Yang Feng is very talented and is the only direct disciple of the sect. As long as he survives, he has a great chance of inheriting the position of sect leader and becoming the next head of the Xian sect. Watching Yang Feng leave, Wang Bin sighed secretly in his heart and made up his mind to make good friends with Yang Feng and gain Yang Feng's friendship. After leaving the House of Internal Affairs, Yang Feng changed into the clothes of a true disciple and walked towards the temporary casino on the side of the square of the House of Internal Affairs. In the temporary casino, you can not only bet on who will win the championship, but also bet on who will be in the top 2, the top 100 and other betting methods. Therefore, there are many people who won the bet. When Yang Feng arrived at the temporary casino, many inner sect disciples, true disciples, and inner and outer sect elders were crowding in front of the temporary casino to receive gambling money. Has Yang Feng been promoted to true disciple? Xuanqi is indeed the top-notch treasure of our Xuan sect. Just bathing in it once can help people break through their bottlenecks. Young Feng has been promoted to a true disciple. Has he been accepted as a direct disciple by the sect leader again? The sect master has many named disciples, but not a single direct disciple. Once Young Feng becomes the sect master's direct disciple, wouldn't he become the chief disciple for the sect master? With the sect leader as a great supporter, Young Feng can walk sideways in our Xian sect. I remember that Young Feng bet 100 million spirit stones to win the championship, and he directly received a full times 10 billion spirit stones bet. Damn it! Young Feng has made a fortune. Seeing Young Feng wearing the clothes of a true disciple, crowded in the temporary casino, the elders of the inner and outer sects exclaimed, their eyes full of shock and envy. Young Feng ignored everyone's exclamations and comments, but walked straight to the temporary casino, handed over his identity and said, "Collect the gambling money from me." Hearing Young Feng's words, the temporary casino operator immediately took the identity token, swiped it on a special instrument, took out a space ring that had been prepared from the cabinet in front of him, and he handed it to Young Feng and said, "The principal of 100 million spirit stones, the stake of 10 billion spirit stones, a total of 1.1 billion spirit stones, click it." Young Feng took the space ring, let go of his consciousness and checked it. After making sure it was correct, he put it in his arms and said, "No problem." After getting Young Feng's affirmative answer, the staff member returned Young Feng's identity token to Young Feng. After Young Feng got back his identity token, he jumped into the air and flew towards the Vulcan peak.